Hey, what's up all my friends out there in YouTube land? Elric Ferris, Editor-in-Chief, here once again on the Motherboards.org YouTube channel. Okay, we've got something actually new for you guys this time around. We haven't yet to review a case here on Motherboards.org because we really couldn't figure out a way to do it without emulating other people's ideas. We wanted to basically have our own original way of doing a case review. So we think we've got our way, and now we're going to bring you our first case review. This is the new Inwin Dragon Rider case. Now this case is about $140, which all things considered for a high-end case is a very good price. The thing is completely toolless. When you get it out of the box, all you need to do to install your stuff is just have your parts and away you go. All the stuff for installing your CDs and everything has little snap-on pop drives which you just attach and then put into the system. Now, the system does not have a removable motherboard tray. Some people might think that's a drawback, but since you have a CPU cutout on the back of the case, you don't really need to have that, because if you want to remove the CPU, you just take a little fan off the back of the case that we'll show you later, and you can change out the CPU in your board. Now, you get 5.25 bays right here in the front. Internally, you get another bay where you can change a 5.25 into a 3.5, and then also internally there is a single 3.5 drive thing. When you first get the case, you get a fan in the back, a fan in the top, and a fan in the front, but there's many options for expanding all the way through. So now we're going to take it to the case, show you the features, what it looks like, and all the great things about this case from our friends at Inwin. Let's check this out. Starting at the top of the case, you can see that from the factory it comes with a single 22 centimeter fan. Now, the case can be expanded up to 11 internally, and there's also another room right here on top to put another fan if you so desire. For ease of access, the new Dragon Rider case has many options on its top ports. You get two eSATA ports, a single 400 FireWire port, two USB 2.0, two USB 3.0, and your audio and headphones. Now, there's a cable that connects to these that actually goes out the back of the case and connects to your rear I/O, which we'll show you later. Now we're going to move on to the front of the case. The front of the case has a really nice design, has a really big Inwin logo here that lights up, and there are 5 bays that you can easily access. These little covers are very easily removed for you to get inside the system and work within the system. All of the trays and everything inside the case all slide out. We'll show you that a little bit later. On the bottom down here, we actually have an extra slot down here if you want to have a removable hard drive, but I don't think very many people are actually going to want to sacrifice the fan, so this is probably going to be more of an obsolete feature, but there are 5 very easily accessed bays. One thing I want to talk about too is the case is made of very, very strong, solid Molex-like plastic and good steel. Nowhere inside of here that I've touched or anything else contains any sharp edges or otherwise. It's just very well made. Also, the front of the case, when you turn on the system, it actually lights up, and right now you're going to hear how loud the system actually is from the factory with all the fans turned on to full. Excuse the beeping sound because I don't have the system completely built up yet. We just installed in the case for you guys to look at, but here now comes on the light, and I'll be quiet so you guys can hear how loud it is. The beeping sound you hear is just because I don't have a keyboard or mouse plugged in. So here we show you the front of the case, all the options. Like we said, all of these little drive bays, remove, pop on very easily and off. Very, very easy to work with, very ergonomic. I pushed a little too hard on this one and stuck it in there. But overall, this is just a very, very simple, easy, and elegant case to work with. And now I'll go ahead and turn it off, and we shall move on to looking at the side and rear panels of this case. So taking a look at the side of the Inwin case, you can see it's got a fully fleshed out mesh screen here. It's actually totally see-through for airflow. You can remove this by a couple of thumb screws. I removed one previously. Here's another one of them right here, but these are all that you have to do. Like I said before, it's entirely toolless. So you just take that off, and then you can remove the side of the case. You see, just pulls off even gentler than I thought. And inside, you can see, I'll show you right here, there's dampening all around the side of the case. The reason for this is you can hook up 6 more 22 centimeter fans on this unit. And what this would do, this would help keep it from all the noise vibration when you're running the system. So this is that. I'm gonna go ahead and set that down. And now we're taking a look at the actual inside of the case. As I said before, there are absolutely totally no sharp edges whatsoever in this case. As I stated earlier, everything in this case is completely toolless, but to remove the drives, you actually have to remove the front of the case, which I really wish it wasn't so, but first you have to take all these little things out here, and then you actually just pop off the entire front of the case. Now, after the case is removed, all of the drives easily slide out into the thing. They even slide out so good they fall on the ground. But like I said before, everything just pops in. These things right here just slap onto the side of here, and then you stick it back inside of the thing. So other than having to remove the very front grill to do it, it's actually very easy to work with. I don't know if my camera can get this, but all you do with these things is you just put them on here very simply. They stick on each side, one on each side like this. There's little trays, as you can see. I pop these in the holes, turn it around, put it in one of the bays, and then just slide the drive bay back inside the system. So that's all you have to do. It's very easy to work with, completely toolless. This works for all the different drives in the system. Like I said before, I'm going to spin this back around. There is an internal 3.5-inch bay, and it's going to be really hard to see, but this is the internal bay, and we actually have one of our SSD drives inside of here. Also, when you're installing all of your video cards, there are little clips right here that clip off and pop all these little screens off of the back. So you do not need any tools for that either. You just put in your card, get it in the slot where you want it to be, and then close this little pin. I mean, these are pretty much the simplest things I've ever seen. I mean, look at this, folks. Cameraman, can you get in really close to this? I mean, this is so simple. You just pop this in, bracket falls out, you stick your card in, close it. How much easier can it be? I mean, it's really so simple. Also, another thing that people talk about is the removable motherboard tray. Now, right now we're using this giant Cooler Master fan. This is one of the biggest fans that you can actually get on the market, and you can see that it very easily fits in here going up flush against the outside case. That's very good, but there's so much room inside the case. Now, having a removable motherboard tray is really something that you need to have if you cannot access the CPU. But since there is a CPU breakout on this case, as I spin it around, you can see right here, cameraman, get up close to this, there is a CPU breakout box here. So all you have to do is remove these screws, pop this off, and then you can access and remove your CPU for changing your CPU out. That is really the only reason for having a removable tray. And in this case, you totally don't need it. So we're gonna spin around and show you finally the back of the case. Now, the back of the case is pretty much the same as almost any other ones you see, except that you have 4 holes up here. These first 2 are for your breakout box from the top ports. 2 cables come through here, and you plug those cables into the rear I/O of your motherboard. These other 2 right here are for if you'd like to use a water cooling system. These are for the return and send of your water. On the back I/O, as you can see, it's just all mesh all the way across. There's a place inside of here to mount your power supply that's very easy. I'll spin it back around and just show you that real quick. There's a little mounting thing. It's kind of hard to see down here at the bottom, but on the bottom down here, there's a little mounting thing. Your power supply just sits right in. You bolt it, you're good to go. Actually, to be honest with you folks, I mean, this is probably the only thing on the entire system that you actually would need to use a screwdriver on, because the screws that actually hold in the power supply do require a screwdriver. So I'd have to say, in all honesty, it's probably 99% toolless. On the very bottom of the case, I'm gonna spin and pop it down. I'm gonna drop this down on the table. You can see that they're really nice, strong legs. These are all very nice. So if you want to have these on there and set your case up for balance, you can stick these things out and it gives your case much better balance. But if you're trying to stick it in between a desk, all you got to do is fold these things in and you're back in line. So I'm going to go ahead, stick the case back up here. I'm going to go ahead and just so you guys can see, I'm just going to go ahead and reassemble it. For those people who have a little, scariness about taking the front of the case off, it's not very hard to get back on. There's little plastic things. You just line them all up, pop everything back into place, and then slowly just go through and put the case back together. It's really, really simple. So I hope you guys really like this. I'm gonna do my little closeout thing now, but overall, this case has many, many features. It's very easy to work with. If you need to put the motherboard in, like I said, you don't need to have a removable motherboard tray. The motherboard slides right in. If you need to take the CPU out, that's why they have the breakout port. So at the end of the day, you get this. you get a case that's made of all high quality materials. The Inwind Dragon Rider is a very solid high-end case. Now, you can get this case for $140 on Newegg, and that's an amazing price. Many of the other high-end cases I've looked at from Cooler Master and Thermaltake, when they start getting into the high-end, they're in the $200 and $300 range sometimes for cases. So for the features, how well this case is made, for the price and its availability, I give the new Inwind Dragon Rider a serious editor's choice here on Motherboards.org. Thanks for watching our introductory case review.